Hey guys, I hope you have your coffee ready. I hope you have your mugs ready because it's time for Coffee Break with Eddie T and
Mike Alvarez.
welcome to Coffee Time with Eddie T and my good friend
Mike Alvarez.
Mike Alvarez. He's also my co-host, by the way.
Hey guys.
So, Mike, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. In spite of all the snow we've had and been dealing with.
I know.
Yeah.
It's been pretty crazy, but now it's actually starting to go away now. So
yeah,
which
thank
has
God
been
for
good.
a little bit of warm weather.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
Same here.
Yeah.
And so if you guys are here for the first time, we want to welcome you. This is our second show. This is our second show, and we're super excited.
Yeah.
Our last show, we had a wonderful guest, a very unique guest, somebody that we didn't think we'd get our hands on. We had to reach, my people had to reach his people, and we got him.
Yeah, here I am. Right here.
And he was here. So Mike was our first guest, and man, we just had a powerful time and listening to his story, his journey, with what he's done and been doing with a wonderful group. Unnamed, yeah. So how was your program today, man?
Yeah, it was actually good. I actually am just coming back from that right now. So we had a great gathering full of young adults and millennials, and I mean just a great group of people. So if you're in the Aurora area and you're looking for a place to come and hang out, every Sunday evening at 5 p.m. downtown Aurora. We get together there and have a blast.
Yeah, you got to come and check them out. He's the creative director of this group. Yeah. What was that title again?
The cultural and spiritual architect of Unnamed.
Yeah, try to say that twice.
Yeah, I
fast.
know. I know, right? A little tongue twist.
But that's what my good friend Mike does, and so we're glad to have you again today, and we're going to have a great time at today's show. So we really want you to buckle your and be ready to listen to a great story today. And while you're listening to the show, we want you to share the show. We want you to tell others about it. Add your comments to this. We really want this show to make an impact in your life. So if you know anyone who's creative, anyone who is geared to whatever, maybe in the film and in music, or like my friend Mike, into teaching and working with millennials and other creative people, we want you to share this video with them. And straight city of Lansing in the state of Michigan. Go blue. I'm sure there's some blue people out there. As she's smiling, my sister C, welcome to the show.
Thank you,
hey,
and
Ceci.
go green.
Yeah,
go green. There you go. Yeah. So welcome to the show. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
So Ceci is our one of our special guests because she not only comes from Michigan, but she also is a creative person. She has wonderful gifts. She's got talents. To watch her in action, take with the program with her in Iowa. That's where we first met in Iowa.
Mm-hmm. We had a talent show. You played Simon, and you were tough on the kids for sure.
They called me Simon. I wasn't playing Simon.
Criticism.
Yes.
That's right. Yes.
It was tough love. It was a lot of tough love. It was a lot of tough love. It was a great time, and got a chance to share with you and see what you do. And so here we are, a full circle, and now we're doing some greater things. And so, I'm going to turn it over to you. And, I want people to know, I'd love to brag some more about what I know about you, but I want you to talk a little bit about what you do. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Ceci.
Okay. Well, my name is Ceci. I come from Lansing, Michigan. I come from a family of 4 siblings. I have an older brother. A twin sister, we're identical, and a younger sister, and was raised in Lansing since I was 3. I was born in Texas, so I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan.
All right.
That's right. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. No haters here.
Heart's in Texas, but my heart's also in Lansing, Michigan, where I grew up. I've been in the same church as I was 3 years old, and I'm currently a worship director at my church where I've been serving. I've served the church since I was 12 years old. I started with worship leading, and now I'm the worship director. It's kind of crazy to even say that because I never imagined that's what I was going to be doing. Because being in front of people and crowds was not something that I liked. And so being an identical twin, Priscilla was definitely the one to be like more outgoing and like in front of people, and I was kind of like right behind her. And now it's funny, we're both worship leaders in our church, and we stay busy, definitely.
That's all. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So you mentioned a twin sister. So a minute ago, before we start the show, she kind of surprised her twin sister, and you guys look exactly alike.
We do.
So I had the question, Mike. I had to ask her, how do I know you're Ceci and you're not your sister?
There's a little thing, some little things in there that just make us different. You know, I would say our noses are different. If you really pay attention, our noses are different. Mine's are a little bit more skinny and closer together. No, I mean, we definitely have different personalities. I think that's how most people tell us apart. I'm definitely more sarcastic and, more serious and probably reserved. And she's super outgoing personality. She's like, "Hi, I'm Priscilla," big hugger, and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Ceci." You know, but yep, we definitely look alike. I would say we looked more alike in high school. It was definitely an advantage because we got to switch classes, and we actually did many times. I was a more sporty girl, so I did her gym classes, and she did my English and math classes. So it's fun being a twin, definitely.
Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad you verified.
It's official.
Yes.
It's official. That's good.
So what was it like kind of growing up in your home, and just how did you eventually get into music and all that?
So growing up in the home was very interesting because I came from actually a very dysfunctional family. A dysfunctional family that I didn't realize it was dysfunctional until I got a little bit older. At 7 years old, I was sexually abused by my grandfather and really didn't know how to deal with that. I was 7, I was young, I was naive and trying to deal with that and deal with parents who were very involved in church. And matter of fact, my dad took a position. We were 12. He took a position in Texas, and as a pastor, and we moved there, and we actually lived inside the church. So the church was connected to the house, and there was a piano there and drums. It was a very small city. We didn't know anyone, so I was bored and actually just started going into the sanctuary. I started on drums, started banging around, and I learned to play the drums. So I actually started playing drums with the church band when I was 12, just figuring out, probably just doing the 1-2 beat. That's probably all I knew, but I just kind of started liking it, and there was a piano. I started playing piano. I literally started playing like this. This is how I first learned to play. It was just like this, and then realized, oh, wait, I have 4 other fingers that I can use. And I just started playing around. I never took lessons, but in that, I just realized that I started loving the sound of music and what it could do. And so 12 years old is when I actually picked up learning how to play music. And then from there, we moved back to Michigan at 13, and right away we just kind of got involved into youth worship and realized, like, okay, this is something that I actually like to do. I actually really enjoy harmonizing more than I do like leading and singing. But so I started with youth and just kept on going with singing.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So can I ask this question? If how did your life get shaped when the things that happened, like with your grandfather and molesting you and all that, how did that begin to shape even music or your art at all? Because I know some people can go in a different direction where it can be super negative. How did you harness that and move in this way?
I think in the beginning, I would say I did a poor job like dealing with it. I think part of it was because our family was kind of a family dynamic where we kind of just put everything under the rug. So being abused by my grandfather was just the first part of our family's dysfunction. When we moved to Texas, we would soon find out that my father was sexually abusing my twin sister, and later on abusing my other sister. And so there was just so much abuse and so much going on that we really didn't know how to deal with it. And it wasn't until like I would say teenage years that I realized that writing was a sense of expressing how I really felt. And so I started with journaling. I would just write down kind of like, dear God, like prayers, like this is what I'm feeling. And I think one of my first songs I wrote was like, dear God, like, I don't remember exactly all the words, but it was kind of like a cry for help. And when I went back later reading the lyrics, and I realized like I just completely have dumped everything that was in my heart on paper. And then listening to other people and their stories and realizing that we all have a story to tell. And so when I started writing it down and realizing that looking at it and really just focusing on the words and how powerful words are, I realized that I can turn these into songs.
Yeah.
And let's see what I can do with it. And I just began songwriting. And songwriting has been a great sense of just letting go and finding forgiveness, finding joy again, finding that even though you come from dysfunction doesn't mean you have to be dysfunctional. Or just because I was a victim of sexual abuse doesn't have to mean I have to stay in that victim mentality. And so songwriting has definitely has been a good anchor for me to find hope. And so now through songwriting, that's my hope to continue helping other people through it. So
wow, it's amazing.
This song that tells your story, where are we today with that song?
So currently, Eddie and I are working on House of Secrets, my first single. I am super excited about it. I'm nervous, but at the same time, I know just in the past, being transparent, and this is a song that's basically on the outside looking in, we're a family that looks completely normal, and a church-going family who looked like you had it all together. What was really inside, the hidden secrets, the dark areas, and where it's like now we're turning the lights on what really took place and how our light can turn somebody else's light on, and that's our story. Our story can help someone else and help them turn their light on as far as getting the help that maybe they never talked about. If they were abused when they were younger and they never really, shared or talked about it, this is the chance where, people are not fully living because they haven't dealt with some of the issues that they've had in their heart or in their life for such a long time. And so it's just it's a time now to talk about it, deal with it, and talk about it, get help for it, and live purposefully and intentionally.
Yeah. I tell you, Mike, this song, when Ceci and I met to talk about her song, she sent me a video clip that I kind of caught what you were singing, but I didn't have the lyrics in front of me. So, and there was like maybe a little echo in the background that was a little hard to define. And so I sent Ceci a message, a text, and I said, hey, can you email me or text me the lyrics? And she did. And when I got it, I was upstairs in my family room with my wife, and we were just talking, and I'm reading the lyrics, and I said, hon, stop. She said, what? I got to read this to you. I have to read this to you. And so I read what you sent me, the lyrics to this song, and we were both pulled by it. And I was moved by it because it's been a certain journey in my creative world that more recently I find myself working with songwriters who have a powerful story such as yours to share, and they have this tool to be able to share with others, write songwriting and put music to it and let other people that might have gone or are going through something similar to your case and being able to find that there is some hope, there is light at the tunnel, and we talked about, how you Mike asked, and you're moving forward. And we saw recently a video clip, Mike and I, about you were in front of a group and you were sharing your story. But I found it so interesting how strong you were on that. You had humor to it, and everyone was just pulled by it. And that was such a wonderful presentation that you had.
Thank you. I think this House of Secret song is very special to me, and I think it's really cool that I'm starting out with a song that's not so much just only about me. It's about my whole family, and so when I originally started writing it, it's a dark song, and it's a song that's like wait, what? Like, what did you just write? And it took me for a minute. I'm like, did I just really write that? And I sent a message out to my family, my siblings, and said, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about writing this song, and I would love for you guys to be a part of it. So they kind of wrote me some notes on, how they felt with the dysfunction and their upbringing, because we kind of all took it a different way. Yeah. And we went through different things. My brother was 15 who got kicked out of the house, and dealt with a lot of physical abuse from my father, and then he got into drugs, where that kind of took over his life, and my younger sister got pregnant, and so a lot of things came out of the home, but it was important for me to involve them to kind of express, like, as a family, like, yeah, we have gone through a lot of maybe ugly moments or a lot of dysfunction and a lot of traumatic events. But, where are we today? And that's what it's really about. And just through that progress and getting to a place where you're maybe not where exactly we want to be, but you're definitely not where you were. And so it's very special that my whole family's involved. My mother's involved in the song.
That's great.
I can't wait. We're all anxiously waiting for the final products, but we're excited, definitely excited.
Yeah. I know that there are probably people watching right now that maybe you've gone through some kind of experience in life where it's been tragic and it's been horrific, and it's kind of shaped your life, and it's kind of almost maybe even shaped the foundation of your life. And and I'm wondering, I mean, you grew up in a home that had a faith background, and for some of us that are maybe watching right now, that maybe you grew up in a faith background too, and you believed in God, or you grew up in a home where mom or dad was a faith believing person, to some measure. How did that not taint your view of God, especially because your dad was a minister?
Absolutely.
And that obviously, you guys in a lot of ways had a public life. So how did that not taint your view of God? And you find yourself kind of in the same, not necessarily in the same position, but influencing people from a platform like your dad did.
Yeah. I would say I was probably like everyone else in the world who asked God a lot of tough questions. Why God? I don't understand this. If you're a good God, then why would all this bad stuff happen to our family? I think one of the biggest parts of, I would say why I've never really become an alcoholic. I've never been on drugs. I've never, been on any medication. I've gone to counseling, but I think part of me is staying consistent, even in my faith, and never like turning my back on church or God. Even though I would say, was I mad? Was I hurt with God? Absolutely, especially when I was younger, because I didn't understand, especially coming from being raised in church when I was 3 years old. And then being in church, your whole life, seeing your father, seeing a family completely destroyed. I did have a lot of tough questions, but I think what changed my circumstance was I had a lot of really good people around me, really great accountability. But that didn't let my faith, they let me ask the tough questions, but at the same time, didn't let me sit in depression or, anxiety, and those are real things. And not to say that I've never been sad or been confused or upset or angry, because those are all emotions that come with being a victim of sexual abuse. But I think staying consistent with people in church, I had really good pastors in my life that just constantly spoke into my life and were kind of reminding me, like, Ceci, it's okay to be mad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to have all of those feelings. And kind of one of the things that I love that my pastor, Pastor Yolanda, mentioned to me when I was younger, and I've always kept that with me, is she says, you got to know yourself. And we all have different personalities. The way that I dealt with it was different than my siblings. We found different outlets. My outlet was music, and started writing, started just consuming myself with it, where my brother chose drugs because that's what helped him cope for his pain. But then he had to figure out how to get out of that and allow God to come in, where he was still just angry, and so that's where he was stuck at. And, I think a lot of times we look at this as like a race, and we just have to be, especially in a Christian aspects or mentality, like you're a Christian, you should be this and this and that, you should be forgiving, but all that takes time. Time has definitely helped. I probably with hopefully a little bit more maturity, but having people come in. But my pastor says, you got to know yourself and really know where you're at. If you know, like, take one day and you are really sad, you're in your bed with the blankets on you, take one day. You can have that one day, but the next day, if you're still there, then you got to call someone. You got to have that accountability. And I've had that in my life, that accountability where I had really great friends and mentors that just didn't let me sit in my victim mentality. They recognized that I was a victim of something, but didn't stay there. And so I think that was a big part. My faith. I've always loved God. I've always felt that from my relationship with Him. And honestly, everything in my family, including members of my family, the most consistent thing in my life has been church.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the most consistent.
Yeah.
You know, family has been in and out, relationships have been in and out, and church is, I wouldn't say church is everything. The relationship with God is the most important, but church family is so important.
Yeah.
Friends are important. Who's around you is so important.
You know what I love about your story is that your story has helped shape your life, but it hasn't defined you.
Yeah.
You know, which is so amazing. And I know, like, there are probably listeners watching, and maybe you've gone through something, or you've gone through a situation in life, and you know, in a lot of ways, your history or your bad decisions has shaped your life. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, man, you know, you're allowing this thing to define you in a lot of ways. Yeah. But I think the beauty of being an artist is that you can use that just like you, and and it will shape your craft. And if you allow, I think, the right people to surround you, allowing them to speak into your life and then helping shape you, you can develop this beautiful thing. Yeah. And whether it's music, or whether it's, you know, painting, or whether it's, you know, you're a lyricist. So it's just amazing how you've not allowed this to define you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if I could change gears here for a moment, I'm curious to know, you know, at what point in music writing did you find it where it's like, man, this has now become my passion. This is something I really, really enjoy doing.
Oh man, passion.
Is it a passion? Do you enjoy writing, or do you enjoy just playing?
Honestly, I would say in this season, my passion is more songwriting than it is playing or even singing. Whether it's for myself or someone else, just because it's been such a relief, and realizing that I've connected with so many people based on words. And so finding the passion, I found passion when I was younger, just watching other worship leaders sing, and I just love seeing how an atmosphere could change in a matter of moments. Yeah. It could be in the big moments of a loud music, or it could be in the quiet moments where just the piano or just the guitar. And I mean, I think I've always been passionate about music, but I would say I am most passionate now about songwriting, because I have seen that in this past few months with me sharing my story, my family's story, sharing the songs, it's connected me with so many people, and I think that's where it's very rewarding to see that we can help people through our stories.
Yeah.
And so that's
well, with that, what would be a highlight in that path, in that career? Every career, or every creative person has a highlight in their journey, right? There's a moment that sticks out, that gives us that oomph. Yeah. You know, I wrote a song that changed a life, or for some, I made a Grammy. I got a Grammy. You know, it's a huge highlight, and everyone wants to move forward. What highlight in your life do you feel like, okay, this is what's keeping me going?
So I would say about a little over a year ago, I did my first benefit concert. Coming from sexual abuse, I decided to get involved in a nonprofit organization. And so it was a benefit concert where I kind of wrote 4 or 5 songs for this specific event. And we invited the community, invited friends to come in and raise money for kids in Uganda. And it's called the EDSHA Foundation. And
That's great.
Honestly, I was so excited about it, but I didn't realize the impact it was going to have by writing these specific songs, singing them live for the first time. And then afterwards, hearing every story. I remember one specific gentleman who came up, and he's just like, you know, I was sexually abused when I was younger, and I've never told anyone till today. Wow. And he was like, and we offered resources and counselors, and he's like, he grabbed the card, and he's like, I'm going to call the counselor tomorrow, and I'm going to get help for this, because I want to, you know, not necessarily just be just like me, but he's like, I want to, you know, be like you in the aspect where you freely talk about your pain, and that right there is worth every vulnerability, every transparent moment, and definitely worth, and it was rewarding to see that, knowing that your pain can lift somebody else's, because you've gone through the pain, but now you have joy, and you don't look at it as pain anymore. You look at it as like, that's what happened to me, but I'm not there anymore. And so that's where this guy was. So I would say that probably to this date, the most rewarding part or proud moment is having a benefit concert and raising money to help other girls in Uganda.
That's awesome. Songwriting, and then hopefully there's songwriters out there watching the show that there's people who write songs, especially nowadays. That's been kind of a highlight topic where a lot of songs are written and they're just kind of hollow.
Yeah.
They're just songs with a beat, that supposed to move somebody, but more physically than touch your heart or move, And if you're a songwriter, we're really hoping that what Ceci's sharing with you will motivate and encourage you, because that's what we want to do. That's what we want to hear, that people are writing songs to make a difference, and this is part of your journey, Years ago, I wrote a song with my assistant producer who's behind the cameras in the show here today, and it was one of those songs. We're all waving at you. It was one of those songs that also made an impact, and I love to share this story. Because this song we wrote was geared towards parents who are losing their kids, to street violence, and so we had some really sad stories, and we got together, my daughter and I, and we wrote the song, and just recently it was used, and they reached out to me about using the song in front of the White House. They went and they had a rally out there, a bunch of people, and they just there was a gentleman who makes crosses and was sharing those crosses to kind of identify the people that were lost, and so the song became a theme to the event, and along with a story that an email that I received from some gentleman that had heard the song when we released the song, and he says, "Thank you. I want you to know that my daughter and I have made this our song." Because they had just lost he had lost his wife to cancer, and so it was, for us, it was a moving moment, and it kind of the highlights of what we're talking about, writing stuff and writing songs that makes a difference. And so, if you're a songwriter like Ceci, make songs, write songs that make a difference. You'll see the results to that.
Absolutely.
So But have you ever found yourself in a moment where you want to give up? Have you ever come across where I'm going to throw in the towel? This is it.
I mean, I'm sure I have. There's been times where it's like, challenges come up, and, I think it's a scary thing when you decide to open up, and I think self-doubts and fears, and you can kind of definitely have moments where you're just like, I'm not good at this. Even that in general, I think a lot of artists like, am I really good at this? Am I really, making a dent? But to be honest, now I don't look at it as like, even if I have moments where I'm thinking like, okay, is this song gonna do anything? Now I have the mentality, it's like, you know what, if it connects to one person, then I've done my job. Then I've done it justice, and that's what it's about, just making a difference one person at a time, one story at a time.
That's awesome.
So, Is there a method that you follow at all that kind of do you have a special place where you go to and work on this? Or some ritual that you go through that inspires you?
I wouldn't say I have a method. I definitely spend many hours at my church. I love going to the church because during the week no one's there. I have the whole sanctuary to myself where it's just quiet. And I have my worship times, but I also have my times at home, like late at night, where lately, like if thoughts are coming, to my mind, I have an idea, I'll hurry up and write it down. But methods, I don't have a specific method, but I find it that when I started journaling, the best way to write a song is just write what I'm feeling, write what I'm thinking, and just share my life experiences. And really, every song that I've written has been about one of my experiences in life. Most of the bad ones, but and there's some good ones in there too. And but I have found that writing through the bad is more helpful than the good. I find it more rewarding to lift somebody up and who's really, really low than someone who's like, I'm just having a lazy day. I need like a beat music to dance around to. But there's something more special when you write a song that's uplifting. And so definitely, just my method is just writing from my heart and from my life experiences.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
We have a question that we like, and we're going to ask all our guests.
Okay.
And says Mike did pretty good on when we asked him the question. So we're going to ask you the question.
Okay.
And I'm going to read it to you. Here it goes. So if you could describe in one word the kind of work you would want to accomplish by the end of your life, what would that be?
Ooh, one word.
One word.
I would say the one word would be authentic.
Okay.
I would want at the end of, after everything said and done, that I was authentic.
That's
That
good.
the music was authentic. The story was authentic. Because being authentic is being real, being you. And I believe God created us very unique, and no one is alike. No one has the same gifts or talents. And so with the talents that He's given me, I hope to use it to the max and never waste a moment, but also just to be completely authentic and being real and being me.
That's a great one. I don't know, man. She might have beat you.
I mean, she might have.
What was yours?
Mine was effective.
Effective. Oh, that's general.
See?
I switch it now. It's authentic.
She's getting
now.
back at
You
you
have
for
to
the.
re-record your
I
whole
know, right?
taping just for that one word.
That's awesome. You know, that's a great answer, by the way.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. And so people want to know about you more. I know we're going to put some links about Ceci, and where could they know more about you? Where do they find
Right
you?
now, I have a page on Facebook under Ceci Bordayo, and pretty soon we'll have our first single out, and hopefully in March we'll have that done, and we're excited. We're excited to get this song out.
Yes,
See where it goes. Yeah.
We're on the works on it, and we are doing. Are we still on the works with a music video to this?
We are. We are shooting a music video to this one. So this one, my first song, we're going all out. We're going to shoot a music video and with a song, and definitely we're excited
It's
about
gonna
it.
be a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I've participated in some music videos, and
Yeah.
that's always a blast. I always love that. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us today, Ceci. Thank you for
Thanks for
joining
having me.
us. It
Thank
really
you.
was great to hear your story, and
Thank you.
you know, I admire your strength. I've said
Thank
that
you.
before, and I'm encouraged by it, and I'm sure Mike was receiving that as well. And so, thanks for coming out and taking the drive. And go blue or what?
Go green.
Go
Go
green.
green.
Go green.
We'll leave that one alone. So please keep following us. You know, again, I can't iterate anymore. We really want to get your feedback. We want to know what you think about the show. Share the show. Give us your likes, your hearts, and tell others about this. And hopefully we'll see you again, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming out, and we will talk soon. Until next time.
On
Coffee
break with
Eddie
Eddie
T
T.
and
Yeah.
my good friend Mike Alvarez.
Alvarez.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Take care.
This is T. Michael.